Hello, friends. Are you ready to hear the rest of the tale? Then let us commence. Last time around, the Ragtags had just returned from the ruined red world of Telene, only to come face to face with some wizards who seemed rather nonplussed at Lysandra and Celinda for going through the portal to Telene in the first place. These new and colourful wizards spoke cryptically about whatever was going on in the multiverse and with the glitching portals, and each seemed to have their own theories about it, and their own opinions about Lysandra and Celinda. After all, the wizards took all their drama with them to wherever wizards go in Sigil. Everyone could focus on the two main items at hand. Number one, who was the new Gith woman that had come out of nowhere and easily defeated two wraiths on Telene before accompanying everyone through the gate back to Sigil? Number two, Minko was now in Varys's head instead of Brace's, and that was, well, something. And something that needed to be at the very least discussed a bit. Probably. Finding refuge in the Sleeping Dragon Inn, everyone took time to rest and eat, while sharing what information they could. We found out that the Gith woman was named Unia, and she had found herself on Telene after jumping through a portal she was studying to escape a catastrophic attack on her homeworld. She had been fighting for survival on the Sundered World for over a week before she had run into the Ragtags, and was extremely malnourished and exhausted. Given how skilled and awesome she seemed with her sword and psionics and whole, Unia thing, it was really wonderful news to everyone that she offered to stay on and join the team on their random adventures and jobs and quests through the multiverse. After that, everyone decided that the next course of action should be to travel to Sylvania to follow a lead down the trail regarding how they wound up in stasis tanks on an airship. With a course of action decided on for the following day, Varys, Brace and Minko headed to the Temple of Knowledge while everyone else went to sleep. In addition to a good start on research into separating Minko from Varys, the heroes received a letter from the Lord Wake's Galt, granting them an audience to discuss a robbery that had occurred at his palace that had involved the same ectoplasm that was found in Dr. Saja Lev's workspace when the solar egg was stolen. The audience was scheduled for the next day at noon at Lord Galt's palace, the Casa Infinitus. Like most of the multiverse's super wealthy located in Sigil, the palace happened to be in the opulent ladies' ward, and it just so happened that the gate to Sylvania was found there as well. With all of these appointments and destinations and leads coming to the fore, let's jump right into things, yes? Regrouping at the Sleeping Dragon Inn the next morning, the Ragtags quickly set off, taking a carriage to the ladies' ward, and were soon after that at the gates of the Casa Infinitus, palace of the unfathomably wealthy Lord Wake's Galt. Just in case we haven't discussed it, the Lord Galt is what is colloquially known around Sigil as a Golden Lord. The Golden Lords are the wealthiest cutters in Sigil, and, therefore, some of the wealthiest and most powerful cutters, well, in any universe, with jink enough to buy and sell worlds and manipulate entire planes. Just imagine having access to wealth and profits on a multiversal scale, and you can begin to fathom the power and riches these folk wield. So, standing outside the front gates to the Lord Galt's palace, with the idea of what a Golden Lord's home might look like, the Ragtags were left a little underwhelmed. The Casa Infinitus was a large, opulent home, no question. But it wasn't what anyone had expected as far as where someone who possessed riches on a multidimensional scale might call home. Waiting to greet the heroes was the Lord's Major Domo, Axiar Eorthus, an affable silver dragonborn who welcomed everyone to the Lord Galt's palace and showed them inside. Along with Axiar was Galt's head butler, an automaton named Fidus IV. Also at the front door were two of the Lord's bodyguards, a blustery Gif named Arnaldo and a quietly confident Owlin woman named Heroine. Soon after entering, Fidus IV handed out special necklaces that acted as a sort of security pass for everyone, ensuring they were able to access the parts of the palace they needed to. Or, more accurately perhaps, the parts of the palace they were permitted to. Axiar then brought everyone to a long, plain-looking hallway that had many large doors. The bubbly Majordomo opened one near the end and, well, something incredible and unexpected, at least to our heroes, happened. Sunlight came pouring into the hallway, and the sound of birds and breezes carrying the heavy and sweet perfume of exotic flora. Nothing too strange until everyone remembered that there should only be more palace on the other side of the door, not a wide-open outdoor space. Peering out the doorway, it appeared the exit opened into a huge, wide-open outdoor space, a sprawling manicured garden that stretched out for at least a mile. It was absolutely beautiful, and also a little bit scary given it seemed, well, impossible. Axiar quickly pointed out that they were looking at a demi-plane the Lord Galt had commissioned, created and designed to his specifications. Turns out the Lord Galt owned many demi-planes, most of which were accessed as part of the Casa Infinitus. Okay, well, yeah, that's quite impressive then. The heroes were escorted through the gardens in awe of their scale, beauty, and opulence. I mean, there was a sparkling silver lake that had a life-size statue of a Pegasus made from a huge pink gem. Wow. Finally, arriving at a raised arbor on the shores of the lake, the heroes were introduced to the Lord Wakes Galt and his entourage. The Lord Galt sat upon a throne wearing resplendent finery as befitting his station and staggering wealth and power. So, just imagine how someone with the titles Executor of the Multiversal Consortium, Dominor of Trexoril, Prelate Honorum of Celestia, and board member of the Regis Planar Bank whose demi-plane you're standing in might dress, and it's probably not resplendent enough. Here they met the Lady Galt, a larger-than-life tiefling woman named Irisori, Iri for short. Beside the Lord standing stone still was an imposing Aasimar woman in glorious mithril armor whom everyone assumed was Galt's personal bodyguard. Off to the side was someone named Lord Clark Bessoul, a Luxodon from the Fraternity of Order, who was there to document and make sure the Lord had no legal exposure due to what was discussed in the meeting, and to make sure no blackmail or shaking down or anything of the sort occurred. There was also a strange rough-and-tumble type bloke who never said a word and was never introduced. That's rather odd, I suppose. What do you think that could be about? Anyway, finally, Investigator Arahala, a mercy killer investigator in charge of Lord Galt's robbery case. Arahala was a quietly intimidating Aasimar with gold eyes and an unwavering manner that left one quickly unnerved. With everyone present, the meeting quickly and efficiently proceeded. Varys shared, quite generously I might add, what information regarding the ectoplasm and the robbery of the solar egg at Dr. Lev's workspace that they had, including where the ectoplasm might be from, thanks to Dr. Professor Quintinjamin's frequency harmonizer gadget thing that he made. For her part, Arahala was also quite generous with what information she had. She explained what had been stolen from Lord Galt's very secure library vault 6 months earlier. An antique millennia-old map of wild space that included a dangerous, highly obscure region known as the Intersect. Unia later informed everyone that the Intersect was a region of wild space rarely ventured into, as it was full of interstellar hazards, deadly anomalies, and was also overrun by Gith pirates. The Intersect was also where the membranes between astral space and wild space were thinnest, causing all manner of chaos and calamity. Arahala also revealed that there was another robbery that featured the same ectoplasm as evidence. 2 years earlier, a skull was stolen from the Susarium, also known as the House of Whispers, a strange and morbid business run out of Sigil's lower ward where Lothar, the necromancer proprietor, used his skills, for a price, to cast Speak with the Dead on any of the thousands of skulls he had collected. People would pay money to speak with, well, like anyone it turns out, and they'd pay good to great money to speak with someone. Imagine being able to speak with the factol of a faction from thousands of years ago. Now you're seeing the appeal, yeah? The skull had belonged to someone named Daedric the Damned, a heretical figure from Sigil's distant past. Think 4,000 years ago. No one could see the connections between the map, the skull, and the solar egg. Arahala suggested that the only real connection, and the only one worth pursuing, was the thief, whomever they might be. That felt like a back-to-square-one sort of result, but it couldn't be helped. And with that, the heroes were on their way. Although it really felt like Arahala had grown a bit suspicious of them as the meeting carried on. Confused and not totally sure what they accomplished, although the whole skull thing seemed kind of neat, the heroes headed out. After a short walk from the Casa Infinitus, the ragtags headed through the gate to Sylvania. In a flash they found themselves in a dreamlike forest under twilight. Fairy light swirled through the air, which was scented with sweet aromas like gingerbread and honey. Birds sang strange symphonies that the almost alien plants seemed to sway to in unison. The close proximity to the Feywild was increasingly apparent as they slowly got their bearings. Locating in which direction the town lay, they began slowly making their way through the wondrous though somewhat eerie woods. Hearing a commotion up ahead, Drogon snuck up and took a look. In a clearing, a confrontation was unfolding. From their hiding spots in the woods, the ragtags could see a Harengon female and a Tortle male surrounded by an odd assortment of characters, including some bullywugs and a couple of scarecrows. Most unsettling of all, leading the weird group was a creepy fey creature that was demanding that the hare and Tortle surrender. The confrontation escalated quickly, and a fight, seemingly to the death, broke out. Not looking to get involved, the ragtags attempted to sneak around through the forest. Unfortunately, they were soon spotted and attacked by a pixie and some hobgoblin snipers, and, long story short, this all became a thing. Joining the fray on the side of the Tortle and Harengon, the heroes took on the pixie and then the hobgoblins and scarecrows, as their new allies defeated the bullywugs. Well, I mean, Drogon just shot the pixie, like with a crossbow, right through its tiny, fine-boned little body. Ugh. Nasty bit of business that was. The creepy Fae, seeing the day not going in their favour, disappeared in a flash of Fae razzle-dazzle. And with that, we leave things as the ragtags meet this fast-talking, roguish Harengon, and a nature-loving old softy of a Tortle on the outskirts of the gate town of Sylvania, so tune in soon to see how this goes horribly wrong. Ha ha ha. I'm sure it'll be fine.